Welcome! I am Captain Moron. I am a casual Marvel snapper, and I seek to boldly find synergies that no snapper has found before. I play a different deck every week, and then I'll share the synergies I found, the highlights, both infinite and moronic, that I found throughout the week in a brief, about 5-minute video. This week, what we're going to do is we're going to review the previous week's deck, and we're going to talk about the MVP of the deck, the surprise I found playing that deck, and the takeaway for future reference. Then we'll go into next week's deck. I'm excited for it. It's a staple. And we'll talk about where to find me on Twitch throughout the week. Without further ado, let's get started. To start out, we're going to look at the Mr. Negative deck. I like to call it affectionately the Negative Beastspot. I didn't rename it that yet, but that's what I like to call it in my head and my heart. Here's how it runs. If you watched last week's video, you know. We got Ant-Man in there, Hawkeye, Sunspot, Adam Warlock, Angela, Beast, Rogue, Mr. Negative himself, Jubilee, Iron Man, White Tiger, and Magic. For sure, the MVP of this deck was my boy Beast. Not only is he powerful, but he is intelligent. And here's how the intelligence plays out. You pull Beast, and maybe you've put, let's say, Angela, Hawkeye, and Ant-Man all in one location, right? Angela's at 5 and now only costs 1. Your Hawkeye got buffed, hopefully, so is at 3. Now only costs 0. Ant-Man, also 0. Then, turn 7, you have all these cards that cost nearly nothing, especially if you Mr. Negative and you've got something like a 0-5 Iron Man in your hand, a 1-5 White Tiger. You throw them all down, and then the surprise of the week, Sunspot comes into play. Our dear boy Sunspot. Blessed be his name. He then will take all this power on turn 7. I've had it be 7 power, and you're just able to put so much power down. It's hard to counter. Now that I've talked about that, I do want to review the cube total for the week. By far my best week. Now, you got to take into account, again, this was the first week of a season, so I'm pretty sure I was playing mostly bots. But I had a total of 120. What is going on? I said 128 cubes. That was weird. The rundown is, at the end of last season, I actually went from 45 and 0 cubes down. I went down to 43 and 5 cubes, but then started the season at a solid 10 and ended up the week using my affectionate Negative Beastspot deck at 24 and 3 cubes. Very successful deck. I'll say the takeaway is that the Mr. Negative deck, despite being heavily nerfed in a couple patches ago, is alive and well. Here's the thing, it's only going to get better. And this is why it's only going to get better, folks. When this card, our dear friend Mephisto, who's not our dear friend because he's practically the devil, comes out, you can do amazing things. For example, just consider this. You play this card, it's a 6-0, right? If you win the game, though, you double your winnings. So, of course, if it's an 8 cube, you'd get 16. But imagine you played Mephisto on Bar Sinister. Let's do the math. 1 Mephisto would take you to 16 at 8 cubes. 2 Mephistos would take you to 32. 3 would take you to 64. And 4 would take you to 128 cubes. Which, if you remember, that's how many cubes I won this week. So, anyway, how does this keep happening? Seriously? Friggin' demon. Anyway, 128 cubes. Imagine the beauty of that. But of course, that's not plausible, right? If you put down Mephisto, turn 6 on Bar Sinister, and you're like, haha, I got 0 power, you're not going to win. Unless you played Mr. Negative first, and all of those Mephistos cost nothing and give you 6 power. Hence, Mr. Negative will only get better in the days to come. This is a card harvested from data, not released, right? But hopefully Sunday, as long as they don't change how this card will function, it will be a beautiful addition to a Mr. Negative deck. That taken care of, let's review next week's deck, Destroy. One of my beloved decks. It's taken me many a level before. I was debating between it and another one, which maybe you'll see in another video, but this one is just too beautiful to pass up. So you'll see here, I'm going to start from the top because Death, she is the mistress, the queen of this deck. Costs 1 less for each card destroyed this game and is ordinarily a 9-cost, 12-power card. Clearly, what you want to do is destroy as many cards as possible. Hence, Shang-Chi. 4 cost, 3 power, on reveal destroys all enemy cards at this location of 9 or more power. One of my favorite counter cards also. Deathlock, 3 cost, 5 power, on reveal destroys your other cards at this location. Sabertooth, 3 cost, 4 power. When this is destroyed, return it to your hand and it costs 0. Builds some beautiful combinations with death. If turn 6, your death is low enough, it can cost 0. Your Sabertooth is in your hand at 0. You could pop down a bunch of cards. It's hard to beat. Killmonger, 3 cost, 3 power. This guy is Death's best friend. On reveal destroys all 1 cost cards. You got somebody who played Squirrel Girl, Central Park Reveal, Debris. I mean, you name it. And your Death's going to be cheap at the end. Venom, 3 cost, 1 power. On reveal destroys your other cards at this location, adding their power to this card. This one's really nice if you're like, oh, I don't want to put this card here and then have it destroyed and lose all its power. Venom's like, no problem, I'll take it all. Wolverine, 2 cost, 3 power. When this is discarded or destroyed, plays at a random location. This one's especially helpful if you can be tricky. You get something like, not Death's Domain. Bucky Barnes is great for that, but Sanctum Sanctorum, right? Your Wolverine, when destroyed, can pop over there. Now, it's random, but you can try to rig it a little bit. Carnage, 2 cost, 2 power. On reveal, destroys your other cards here, and plus 2 power for each card destroyed. Bucky Barnes is a 2 cost, 1 power, and when it's destroyed, you create the Winter Soldier in its place. Then, our beautiful 1 cost, we have Nova. Don't you love that Venomized variant? So creepy and gross. 1 cost, 2 power. When it's destroyed, gives your other cards plus 1 power. Literally lost a game today because I forgot that somebody's Nova would do that when destroyed. Angel, also a beautiful Venomized variant. Just got it today. Super pumped. 1 cost, 2 power. When one of your cards is destroyed, it will fly out of your deck to replace it. It's hard to remember this card is in there, but if you can, and you could be like, you know what? It may not be best to destroy a card this turn, but it's going to be really advantageous because I haven't drawn my Angel yet, and then I'll get him played for free. It's a good idea. And then I put Elektra in there again. 1 cost, 1 power. You're just trying to destroy cards. On reveal, destroys a random enemy 1 cost card at this location. Know that I will post last week's deck on marvelsnapzone.com. It will be called Negative Beastspot. I'll post a link to that in the description once I've got it finished up. And Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday of this week at an undisclosed time in the evening / early morning of the next day, hopefully evening, I'll be streaming on Twitch. You can find me at twitch.tv/IamCaptainMoron. I look forward to seeing you next week. And don't forget, I am Captain Moron.